Hi, thank you for clicking on the video. As you can see, we're talking about Daddy's Little Girls today. As per usual, if you don't like spoilers and for some reason you never seen Daddy's Little Girls before, then you should jump off of here, go watch it, and then come back. But if you don't care, we move on. Now, I don't know where to start. First and foremost, I don't have much to say, but the things that I do have to say, I wanted to say. So here we are. I guess I should start with the whole point of the movie, right? He wants his daughters back. It start with him talking with the grandmother. Now she's dying or whatever, and the way she had to beg him to take his own kids, and the only reason he agreed is because she was like, well, if you don't take them, they have to go to the mama. This conversation was kind of crazy to me because you know you don't want the kids with the mama. You know that the mama is on some BS right now. Like, she's not living a very good life right now. And so you already knew that if something happened to this woman, that the only two options was you or the mama. So why the hell did this woman have to beg you to take the kids to begin with? Like, this should not have been a conversation. When she said, hey Monty, I'm real sick here, you need to be preparing to take these girls, all you needed to do was say, okay, I got it. There should not have been a conversation. I don't understand that part at all, right? And then another thing that I have an issue with Monty about, so when Julia asked him, is there any surprises from your past? He knew that it had been proven that he was falsely convicted. He could have just started the sentence off with, well, I was falsely convicted of finish off, right? Like, he just decided to, now, when that moment happens where she's like, I asked you and you said no. He didn't say no. Actually, he didn't answer at all because you got distracted by a phone call, right? He just allowed the situation to get skipped over. Like, he allowed the question to just get left into the wind. You know what I mean? But he never actually said no, there was nothing to tell you. He just didn't mention it, right? But I just feel like I understand why he had like a reservation to want to tell her, because at this particular point they do like each other, but also he's like, man, she already has these ideas of me, she probably ain't gonna want to help me if she, but there, all you had to do was just explain the situation. I'm sure she would have understood, and clearly she understood at the end when she hears on the news that it was a false conviction. So that's all you had to do. She's a lawyer. She knows this whole lawyer stuff. I think she would have understood it. I did not like that he did not mention it. It was so unnecessary for him not to mention it. Speaking of the phone call that interrupted that question, she got the phone call from her friend who was trying to put her on another blind date. I honestly have to thank Tyler Perry for giving us this moment with Craig Robinson, because everybody quotes that moment in the restaurant. Craig Robinson is hilarious, by the way. Like, that moment was hilarious. But I'll put it this way. Sid was her friend, and I think she wanted the best for her, but at the same time, she like, girl, you uptight, just have a little fun. But Brenda was not Julia's friend. Okay? Now, mind you, she had a whole problem when she found out that Julia was seeing Monty. She came in there glowing. They like, oh yeah, you glowing, you happy. And the moment she said, oh, it's Monty, this girl had a problem. And mind you, they in this restaurant, it's a bunch of white people around them, and you talking about this hood guy. How could you want to date a hood guy? And you practically yelling in this motherfucking restaurant. I don't understand how you got the nerve to judge him when you were making a freaking asshole of yourself right here, right now, in this very moment. in this establishment. But okay, she's a very hypocritical freaking character, and I don't feel like she was ever Julia's friend, because first and foremost, you got the nerve to have a problem with Monty. Monty, yes, he has 3 daughters, but with the same woman. Also, yes, he has a record, which y'all didn't know at first, but I'll get to that. And yes, he is from the hood, but he has a job, and he has goals, and he's trying to work towards something. He's not an absentee father. He actually is trying to be in his daughter's lives. So I don't understand why she felt the need to like criticize him so much. But the fact that you set this girl up on a date with Craig Robinson's character, a 40-year-old who is trying to just get into the music game, who is calling himself 40%, and he literally said he didn't have a job. Another guy you set your so-called bestie up with, a married man. You didn't care about that girl. You wanted to see her embarrassed. That's what it was. Because you're constantly setting her up with these guys that you know is not good enough for her. And then in that moment where the stuff comes out and she finds out that Monty has a record, and she's like, well, I'm done with this, right? And she's talking to her friends. That girl had the biggest smile on her face. Like, if you look at oh damn, I can't remember her name. Tracy Ellis Ross, I think that's her name. If you look at her character, like, she actually seems sympathetic for Gabrielle Union's character, for Julia. She seems like she's actually sad for her, and she's like, dang, I didn't expect you to actually, get these deep feelings for this guy like this. I thought you were just having fun. She seemed like she genuinely felt bad. If you look at the other girl's character, I don't know that woman's name, her real name, but I heard them mention the character's name. It was like Brenda. And she looks too damn happy that this girl is up here sad and heartbroken about this situation. Like, you don't actually want to see her be happy. Because you knew that the guys that you were setting her up with were no good for her. You knew that they were beneath the status that she was trying to have. And then when she finally meets a guy where she's like, you know what? Maybe I do have my standards a little too high. This guy is, actually trying to get somewhere in life. He has goals. He has a job. He's, taking care of his business and doing what he can. That's an issue for you. Like, that's an issue. Her being with a guy who's actually trying to be a man. That's an issue. Okay. Also, I saw one time somebody had mentioned that scene when they were in the aquarium, and they was like, Monty wasn't good for Julian because he didn't want to talk to her in that moment. I actually agreed that he shouldn't have had that serious ass conversation right there in that moment when he only had so many more hours left to spend with his daughters for that day. I agree in that moment that, hey, wait until you drop them off to have the conversation, because first and foremost, that's not a conversation they should be having around them kids anyways. They already dealing with a bunch of BS with their mama and her boyfriend doing a hella inappropriate things around them. So the last thing they need is to see their father also having a very important and intimate conversation with someone that he is seeing. Like, can they be kids for a moment? Like, and I think that was the point. But also, I feel like he was just, like, trying to have that moment with his kids. And, he was enjoying having Julia with them because he likes this woman. But to take that moment and turn it into something that it shouldn't have been would have been the wrong decision. So he made a good decision as a father in that moment. Also, so I don't know, like, the actual laws in the state of Georgia when it comes to the CPS stuff, but I'm pretty sure what happened in that hospital was illegal. I don't think that you can just sit up. Now, there was a fire Nothing was wrong with the girls, mind you. They was there to make sure they didn't have smoke, inhalation, I think it's called. So they was just doing a check because there was a fire, right? In that case, I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be like an investigation. You're not supposed to just snatch the kids and then put them, like, y'all snatched the kids from a situation that was not dangerous for them, not for real, to put them in an actual dangerous situation. And what's crazy to me is everybody in this town know about these two, how they be running around the town, and y'all thought it was a good idea to just, hey, yeah, no, this one time that something could have happened, I have to put them in a situation where many things will definitely 100% happen. That shit pissed me off. But I really feel like, realistically, I'm pretty sure that would be illegal, technically. But again, I don't know the laws in that state, so maybe that's how they work down there. Maybe that's how it worked back then. I don't know, but that's not how CPS work, as far as I know. Just saying. And that dude was bold, mind you. In this moment, he gonna tell Monty, you chose the wrong dude to mess with. You're literally causing ruckus towards him. He didn't say nothing to you. He just wanted his daughters to be safe and not around you and that woman. But you decided to go up to him and say you're gonna have a real fun time raising his kids, or whatever he said. But it was creepy what he said, and he had every right to be mad and to want to beat your ass. And so how you gonna threaten him and be like, oh, you chose the wrong one to mess with? Okay. Another scene that pissed me off is the school scene, when they in the school, because the principal knew that the mama, I don't know why I can't remember the mama's name, but the mama and her boyfriend, you just knew that he was like on Monty's side in this situation, and he wanted to say something, but he was scared, and so he was like, all of you need to stop. Like, they jacking this man up because he don't want them giving his daughter drugs to sell, and you gonna say all of y'all need to stop. Scary ass. Scary ass. Pisses me off. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. Like, I mean, it's a Tyler Perry film. What do you expect? And I've heard so many people talk about Daddy's Little Girl. I just want to give my 2 cents, because I always I always get frustrated when it comes to the friendship with Julia and her friends, because that girl really wanted to see her like miserable, like, is what it felt like. It didn't feel like she was genuinely her friend. Like, you got the freaking nerve to, like, you see her happy on this date, and you gonna go pull her to the side and talk loud as hell, saying you're embarrassing yourself, you're gonna ruin your life being with this man. Like, you knew he could hear you. You wanted to cause a disruption, and that's why you gotta be careful with letting people in on your relationships and stuff like that, because a lot of people don't actually want to see you happy. They just like to see what they can get away with in creating chaos in your life. But I digress. I think that's all I want to say. If I forgot anything, I might make a reel about it or something. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, bye.